Hey retro lovers and masters of virtual fisthouses, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a game that brings Kunio Kun's school fights directly to the Game Boy. Yes, friends, it's time to lead your hands with the 80s style in Neketsu koa Kunio Kun Bangai Ranto Hen. It's just a scrolling fighting game, do you say? Well, get ready to discover that it is not, Conley, a fighting game. It is an experience that will make you re-evaluate your patience, and perhaps also your Game Boy. Neketsu koha Kunio Kun Bangai Ranto Hen is a typical fighting game, part of the legendary Kunio Kun saga. If you've ever played River City Ransom or Renegade, you know what to expect. Punches, kicks, and enemies that fly away like potato bags. But be careful, here everything is compressed on a tiny and colorless screen. It's like taking an action movie and watching it on a smartwatch from the 90s. The result, surprisingly fun, but with some compromises.
Like any respectable beat, EM up, the game launches you against an infinite army of henchmen. It starts with Kunio walking in urban areas, roads, school courtyards, and other Japanese stereotyped environments, and lead with anyone who meets. We have the button to attack and the button to jump, with the possibility of combining the two to perform special attacks. It is simple, intuitive, and yes, a little rigid. Like any good game of those years, wait for a varied cast of generic thugs, each with a face that seems to say, "Hey Che, I'm here only to be beaten." Some attack in the group, others try to make the tough, and then they end up on the carpet. The difficulty curve is a nice deadly leap. The first levels are a walk, but soon you find yourself with more enemies on the screen of how many the Game Boy can manage without an epic slowdown.
For Beam lovers, he is pure comfort food. There is no need to think about it too much. Take the Game Boy, press keys, and look at the enemies fall. Sometimes, simplicity is everything you need. To be on Game Boy, the sprites are well defined. Kunio is clearly distinguished, the enemies are recognizable, and there is a good variety of settings. Of course, it's all in black and white, but it works surprisingly well. Despite the hardware limit, the game is fast and fluid. Even during the most crowded fights, it is possible to maintain control. Well, almost always. The music is energetic and loads you for the fistfights. Of course, after a while they all seem the same, but you cannot help but drum with your fingers while you play.
Like many scrolling fighting rods of the time, the gameplay becomes monotonous quick enough. Walk, peaks, repeat. Of course, it's fun, but after the 5th level you start asking you, they couldn't add an interesting boss here. Some levels are ridiculously easy, while others seem designed to punish anyone who dares to play them. At a certain point, the best strategy becomes press the keys at random and hopes for the best. When the screen fills with enemies, the Game Boy begins to implore mercy. The speed slows down, and it seems that you are playing underwater. It is frustrating, but it is part of retro charm. If you have already played other Kunio Kun titles, there isn't much here again. It is a miniature version of the biggest games, with elite pixels, moves, and less variety. An epic moment when you finally perform a flying attack and hit 3 enemies simultaneously. It is one of those moments when you feel like a god, until another enemy strikes you from behind. A ridiculous moment. The boss that seems indestructible, until you find that you can simply spam a low kick and beat it without problems. Ah, the Aya of the 90s.
The game has never been officially translated. If you don't know the Japanese, good luck to understand the plot. Not that service you are Kunio. You just have to beat people. Neketsu koha Kunio Kun Bangai Ranto Hen is a game that does exactly what he promises. He puts you in the role of Kunio and leaves you your hands. It is simple, fun, and perfect for quick games. Of course, it is not the best Kunio Kun in circulation, but to be on Game Boy, he does his job very well. And that's all for today, nostalgic friends. Have you ever played this chapter of the Kunio Kun saga? Let me know in the comments. And if you liked the video, do not forget to put a like. Register for the channel and activate the bell for other retro pearls. See you next time, and remember, in the fighting game, the real champions are distinguished by one thing: how many buttons manage to press in a second.